Hello, come on. What did you learn in our previous session? We were learning how to work with the frames, how to work with windows, how to work with alerts. Right? Do you remember those things? Alerts and prompt boxes. We have seen both alerts and prompt boxes. Do you remember or you forgot? This was our
Yeah,
last
yeah,
class.
yeah.
Right?
Little bit remember, yes.
Yeah. We worked with the alerts. We have to switch to the alert and then you can perform the alert on the alert element. We have only four methods: getting the text from the alert, sending keys to the alert, accept the alert, or dismiss the alert. These are the only four methods that are available in alert. Okay, so those were the this is the thing that we learned about alerts, and then we also learned about windows, how to switch to that window. I gave you task to switch to a window using its title, using its URL, and the elements inside the window. Not sure if you have done it or not, but these were the things that we have learned. Okay. Now today we are almost done with the Selenium, I mean normal operations. Now we are going to learn about the mouse operations. If you want to perform your mouse operations in some of the applications, you might need to perform the mouse operations like performing the right click or uh, double clicking on a particular element, or what do we say, a drag and drop. Okay, or move your mouse cursor onto an element so that you can see the hover over text. Those kind of things we need to perform, right? In some of the scenarios there might be a chance that you need to verify those things. So for those reasons we have a separate class called actions, which is provided by Selenium itself, which is present inside the Selenium itself. So we are going to use that actions class and perform all the operations that what I told you now. Okay, so let me create new class. It will be c13 underscore mouse operations. First things will be same, the common things like going to a site, opening it, and all those things. So let me copy those things. Now I don't want to go to this site. I want to go to Orange HRM. Do I have it somewhere? Yep. Right. Now let's perform those operations. So, yep, these are the methods that we perform using the mouse, like performing a click or performing a right click or double click and then hover over an element or scroll to an element and drag and drop. Okay, let's see all these let's see all the operations now. Clicking is common. Now, to click on this, we normally use a left click. So a click method would be sufficient here. Okay. Once you click, what is happening? You see, once we click, the inline text, which is username and password, is getting removed, right? Okay. And do we have any hover overs? Okay, let me see. Let me find the examples first. Okay, when you hover over this link, the selected link is dashboard, but when you hover over, the sub items are being displayed. You see, when I just move, color is still gray, but the below list is being displayed. So let us do this for hover over. Okay, and for moving to element, let us go to PIM and let us go to employee list, and then I want to move to the bottom to this URL, orange HRL. Okay, so that you can see that the movement which is happening. Okay, all right, and then for double click, we have to go to other side. A double click, we do not have any operations on this. Okay, for double click and for drag and drop, we'll see some other site. Okay, all right, now let's go back. Come on. Yeah, orange HRM. Now left click or mouse click, normal mouse click operation. Okay, now let's see that. Driver dot find element by dot ID. We know that it is txt username, right? Do you remember it or you forgot? Let me log out and show the inspect. Yes, it is txt username. ID, name, both txt username. Okay, let it be. I'll just keep it aside. But now we want to use mouse operations, right? So for that, we have a class called actions, which is from Selenium interactions. You see, Selenium interactions. You have to use this actions class, create an object, action click is equals to new actions, which is taking the driver object. Okay, now the driver is converted to action object dot. You see, we are directly performing the click operation on. Okay, let me type. You see, there are these many methods which are related to the click, but the click is having only two methods. One, empty parameter, and two with a parameter. Empty parameter from the actions class of click will click on the page anywhere else. I mean, somewhere else. It is not going to look for an element and click on it. It is going to just perform the click operation. Okay. But this one, click with web element target, is going to take the web element as a parameter. So now I want to use this because I want to particularly click on an element. See, when I'm being on this page, when I'm being on the orange HRM page, if I click somewhere else on the page, the username and password are not disappearing. When will it disappear? Only when I click on this, right? Only when I click on this with the mouse, the username and password are disappearing. I mean, the inline text is getting disappeared, right? So that is why I have to click on either the username element or the password element. So I already found the username element. So let us store it inside a variable. Web element username text box. Okay. Let me import this. Okay. Now I will pass this web element variable to this. That's all. Okay. Now, if you, okay, let me run this and show you. This will not happen. The click will not happen. Okay. Because there is one more method that you have to append to this actions class. Whenever you are using actions class, you have to append another method to it. What is that method? I'll show you now. Internet is slow today. You are able to hear me, right? All of you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now it maximized Orange HRM, but it didn't click on the username or password. But the script is completed. You see, script is not waiting for anything. It's already executed. Why? Because see, it clicked on it. We have just created an action. This when you write this statement, that is nothing but we are creating an action, but we are not performing that action. We are giving. We are saying the actions class or the driver to create an action called click, but we are not saying when to perform it. Okay, so we have to perform this click operation. That is another method in actions class. Whenever you want to perform an action using actions class, you need to use this method for sure. If you don't use this method, the action will not be performed on the application. Okay, now you see the same, but with just an extra method perform being called on the action. Okay, now let me close this, and then again you will see that the inline text username and password will be removed from the browser driver. What's happening? Still it didn't perform. Okay, might be, the site loaded too slow. Might be the action didn't perform by that time. Let me. I'm just adding some weight. Generally, it is not needed, but I'm just adding some weight here of 5 seconds. Yep, you see it? The click operation is performed and the username and password inline text is removed now. Right? So this is normal click. Generally, we should be able to perform this operation. Yes, go ahead. Oh, Bobby?
Is it only, this action is used to remove only the intent text?
No, you can perform the click operation here to click on the operation. Okay, do you want me to click on the login? We can do that as well with a mouse click. Generally, there is no difference between, see, when you click on the login element, we are using we will still use the click method. Where is that? Okay, let me go to, you see here when I am clicking on the login button or when I'm clicking on the PM link, I'm using the same method called click. But this method is from web element class. You see, from web element class. And similarly, on the mouse operations, we will use this click method, but this method is from actions class, you see. So that is the only difference. The name is same, but it is from different class and it performs the same operation.
How it is different? That's what my question is. What is it like?
That is what I'm saying. When you use this normal click method, this is from web element class and it will be performed the normal click. It's not the mouse operation. Okay, like suppose when you go to login button, you will also press enter, right, to click on it.
Yeah.
But when you are using your mouse, you'll move your mouse to that particular element and click on that element. So the mouse click is different and the other click operation is different. Okay, so this click.
Double click, right? Double click.
No, left click. This is just a single click.
Okay.
When you want to click on it, you are just clicking on it. Double click is different. See, when I want to perform this text, you see, I'm just hovering over this and entering some text and then moving my mouse and then using mouse left click button to click on login button, right?
Okay.
That's what this actions class will do. Perform the mouse operations. Okay. See, if I click on login button, you won't see any difference, or it will just log in into the page, but you won't see that the click operation is happening. When I click on it, you won't see that, right? Now something changes. It will just log into the page. But here it will change the username and password. So that's the reason I used this as an example, but you can also use clicking on login. Let me do that. Okay, now I want to enter the text on this. So username text box dot send keys of admin, and then driver dot find element by dot id of password dot send keys of admin123. Okay, now I entered username and password with the normal WebDriver. Now I have to perform click on the login button, right? So what I'm going to do is action click dot click on a particular web element. So what is that web element? Driver dot find element by dot id. There should be some name id or name called submit. Yeah, id is button login. Okay, I'm using this button login. That's all. Instead of storing this element inside a variable and passing to this element, passing to this method click, I'm just passing this directly here. I'm finding inside itself directly. Okay, you can also do this, no problem. Okay, now you see I'm mixing the mouse operations along with the non-mouse operations. I'm entering the username and password with the normal web element methods, and this click is from actions class, which is a mouse operation, and this click is also from the actions class, which is a mouse operation. Okay, it performs a normal click. There won't be any difference in the what do we say, response from the application, but the way we click on the element differs. That's all. Either you are using your mouse click or you are using keyboard. Okay, now let us run this and show you. It has to find the button and then click on submit. What is that? Okay, Do you know why you did not click on the login button? You should be able to tell me. We forgot something. What is that?
Perform.
Exactly. We did not perform the operation. We just created the action but did not perform. We have to perform. Every time you use mouse operations, you have to use this perform method. Otherwise, it won't perform the operation. That is why it entered username and password and it didn't click on the login button. Okay, I don't want to use this. Let me run this. See, it logged in. But did I write any code like click on the button? No, right? I'm using the action click element. I mean, any object. You can create actions object with any name. You can also create with like this. Sorry. You can also create like this action and use the same action object anywhere. Okay, it is not mandatory to use action or it is not mandatory action click. It's generally a variable name, but try to keep it a little meaningful. So you can use action or action operation or anything like that. Okay, fine. Now we have seen a normal click operation. There won't be any change in the click operation. I mean, there won't be any extra things that we will see on the application when you perform a click with either mouse or the keyboard. So that is the reason you won't find much difference or much interesting, and you will look for reasons why should I use mouse operations, right? Now let's see the other operations. Right click. Okay. Before right click or double click, these two things we'll see in some other application. Let us see hover over. Okay. Let us see hover over and scroll, because for right clicking, I do not have anything over here. Even though if I right click, it will just show these options. Okay. We can see right click here also. Okay. Yeah. So on different elements, it is showing different context menu. We call this as context menu, right? See, when I click on anywhere on the page, it is showing this. When I click on my leave and see, I'm getting some more extra options. When I'm clicking on this image, I'm seeing only these three options. So you see at different places, when you right click, you are seeing different options, right? Now, if I click on this, any of the elements, you are seeing some options related to the images. When I click here, you don't see those image related options. When I click here, you see only image related options. Okay. So this is the right click. This cannot be performed. This is a right click by mouse. You know, right? How do we perform right click? Okay. So let us see the right click operation here now. Okay. Right click. Now we have the code already until we logged in. Okay. Now let us perform the context click directly. Okay. Action dot. You see again, the context click has two methods. One is not taking any parameters. That means you are asking your actions object or actions class to perform the right click on anywhere on the page. Nothing specific to an element. You want to perform this right click on anywhere on the element. If you want to perform the right click on a particular element, then we use this context click. Generally, we use this context click with the element. We don't want to click somewhere else, right? We want to click on a particular element to see the context menu. Okay, so let us use this right click. Now I want to perform right click on this dashboard element. Let us inspect this dashboard element and see. Okay, this is div control. We do not have any properties, so that is why I'm writing expar div slash H1 where text is equals to dashboard. Okay, I want to click on this dashboard, context click. So driver dot, sorry, action dot context click on that particular element. What is that element? Driver dot find element by dot XPath of this, and then perform. Now you will see some options like this. When I perform options, you don't see any options related to the images, you see, right? Okay, now let us move to any of these image or any of this icon. Okay, leave list or timesheets or apply leave, which one do you want? Assign leave or my leave? Let's go to my leave. Let us identify this and see the context menu. For this also we do not have anything, but we just have span my leave. Let's use this. / span. This should be single quotes. You'll have multiple elements, but we want text is my leave, right? So I'm using and text is equals to which one? My leave. Okay, isn't it finding it? But I want to go to the image. So what will I do is /./img. Okay, I don't want to right click on the my leave because it will show only few options. I want to click on the image so that I'll get more options. Okay, so I'm using that image. Use this, and then again same action dot context click driver dot find element by dot XPath of this, and then perform the operation. But between these operations, I want to use some sleep, because if it performs in speed, you won't be able to notice the differences. So that is why I'm adding 5 seconds or 5000 milliseconds. Okay, all right, and then again red dot. That would be enough. I think we are seeing two differences and two different options on right click. Now let us run this and see. To perform the operation, right click, we have to use a method called context click. Okay, you see that menu, it will wait for 5 seconds. It will go to my leave and right click on it again. Isn't it done? 5 seconds is over, but still. Okay. Okay. I did context click, but I did not perform any operation, right? So that is the reason I think it is unable to perform this again. So let me comment this. Now you have seen the context click somewhere else, right? Now let us see the context click on the my leave button. This is just a right click operation. Wherever you want to perform the right click operation, you can use this context click method. Okay. You see the options related to the image now. You see the context menu is opened on the my leave, right? Hello.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that is context click. Now we have double click. I need to take you to some other site. Hover over and scroll. Let us complete on this site, and then we can see double click and drag and drop on other sites. Let us see the hover over. So hover over means close this. These are not needed for us. Now here, okay, there is nothing to show you hover over. Let me log in. Okay, sometimes when you move over the elements, you will see some, yeah, now you can see here, right? When I move to this, the marketplace button color is changed. When I point my cursor at that marketplace, you see, right? So sometimes when you move to a particular element, it will also show the inline text. You see here, when I'm moving to this 24%, you see the text over there, not assigned to submits 11 employees. When I hover over this, it will show some other text. When I hover over this, it will show some other text. You see the text and its color is getting changed. You are observing it, right? When I hover over it, just below the circle, you see that engineering 11 employees, client services 3 employees, administration 4 employees, like this, right? So hover over. So when you move your mouse cursor to a particular element, there might be some actions that are related to it. See, when I hover over it, I'm seeing the display of the particular section. When I hover over this particular marketplace text, observe the color. It is changing the style. Okay. When I hover over this, okay, nothing happening. Okay, there is nothing happening. But if I move to this, you see the color of this PIF and the submenu is being displayed. Okay. Now, okay, when I hover over the configuration, it is displaying the submenu again. I didn't click on it. I am just moving my mouse cursor and then it's opening. You see the difference? Just hovering over and then it is displaying all the options. So in some situations, you might need to move to a particular element so that there will be some text displayed on this. It will give some information about it, like a suggestion. Okay. Which site can I show you that? Let's see if I can find something on Facebook. Yeah, you see, when I moved on to this Tamil text, it is displaying the text Tamil, right? Hover over text. Do you see that? You see Bengali, and it says Marathi in English. It says Telugu in English. It says Gujarati. It says Kannada, and it says Malayalam. It says Spanish. You see this? The hover over text. That will be displayed only when your mouse cursor is pointing to that particular element, right? Do you agree? So I want to take, or I want to check the behavior of the application when I move on to particular elements. You see, login. When I hover over this login, it is showing login Facebook. When I hover over this messenger, it is asking take a look at messenger. Right? So these kind of inline text, if you want to verify these texts, if you want to take screenshots of these inline text, you need to move to that particular element to see these inline texts. In those situations, we will use this move to element. Understood? Or hover over. So for hover over, the method we use is move to element. Okay. You understood why we use this hover over method of mouse? Why we hover over particular elements on any page? See, when I move on to this create a page, it is getting underlined and the cursor is moving to hands. You see, normally it is arrow, but when I move on to this, it is moving to hand symbol, right? A similar way, normally it is arrow. When I move on to this, it is hand symbol. It is getting underlined. It is also showing the inline text. If you want to verify these kind of operations, if you keep your cursor here and you want to see those inline text, you won't see it. When will you see the inline text? When you move on to, sorry, hover over text. When you move on to that particular element, you will see the hover over text, right? Similarly, this is to display hover over text, but here on the orange HRM, I want to see the sub items of the menu, right? I want to see the sub items of the menu. When I just hover over the PIM, I'm seeing all the list of items which are available under PIM. When I move to leaf, I'll see all the items which are listed under the leaf section. Okay, now let us do this operation, hovering over a particular menu item. Okay, now I will be okay, left click, and then this is context click or right click. Right click. So now I don't want to perform any context click or right click. So I'm just commenting this section and then performing hover over. Okay, hover over an element. Are you following? Is it interesting or is it boring?
Too much hovering.
Okay, I'll close it as soon as possible. Okay. All right. Now I want to hover over a particular element. Let us do that. Action dot move to element is the method which helps us perform this hover over operation. But this move to element is having two options. You see, move to element. One which is taking a normal web element that we have seen already, and the second one is taking the x and y coordinates of that particular element. So if you see, sometimes on some of the elements, what do I say, on the same element, if I move to the left side, it will show some other menu. If I move to the right side, it will show some other text. If you have something like that, when I move my when I have my cursor on the center, it will show something different. If you have some elements in such manner, then you want to move to that particular location, right? On a same button, you can perform two operations. For example, your mobile. Some of the mobiles have the single button for volume up and down. When you press on the top side, it will increase the volume. When you press on the bottom side, it will reduce the volume, right? With single button. You have seen that behavior, right? You won't have two volume buttons. You'll have only one volume button. Pressing on the upper side will increase the volume. Pressing on the lower side will reduce the volume. Did you see that? So similarly, on the web applications also, some of the elements, when I hover over to the left side, or when I hover over to the center, or when I hover over to the right side, there will be a difference in the behavior. If you want to see that difference in the behavior, then you can also give this coordinates, x and y coordinates, where you want to particularly on that particular element where you want to move. If you don't want to give this x and y, by default it will be clicking on the center. It will be moving to the center of that particular element. Okay, center of that particular element. Now I want to move to the PIM. I think we already have it. And then I want to perform the operation. That's all. Okay, this is for hovering over. Now once this is done, we have scroll. Okay, let us hover over this and let us wait for some time. Okay, once I hover over, okay, I'm on the dashboard. but there is nothing to scroll on this page. I have to go to employee list, then only I will be able to scroll. So let me write those lines to go to employee list. PIM. Okay, I have to click on the PIM and then okay, I'll click on the PIM. Okay, this is just moving to that particular element, waiting for 5 seconds and then clicking on PIM. See, when you move, the color will be gray. When you click, it will be changed to orange. Right? So that I'm going to perform now. Then once we move to the PIM, you will see this so that I can scroll my page up and down. You see, right? So I want to scroll to this particular element, orange HRM. Okay. So to move to that particular element, I have to find that element. It is link text. I can use this directly using a link text, orange HRM comma INC. Okay. So here action dot move to element driver dot find element by dot link text of this dot perform. That's all. So here now what are we going to say is we are going to log in. After logging in, it is showing hover. This is for hovering over and this is for scrolling. Both for scrolling and hovering over, we use the same method. Move to element. Your mouse cursor will move to that particular element. So automatically the page will be scrolled. This might be an interview question. How do you scroll pages on the Selenium? So you can use this as one of your answer. Okay. This is one of your answer and JavaScript is another answer. Using JavaScript also we can scroll up or down. Okay, now let me run this. Let's see this. You see, it hovered over PIM. You see the gray color over PIM, right? Now it clicked on PIM after 5 seconds. And did you see that the scroll happened in a blink of second or in a blink of your eye? Generally, when you click on the PIM, it should be on the top of the page. But now where is it? You observed it, right? Hello?
Where is the mouse?
No, mouse, it moved already. Now I'm moving my mouse to open the zoom controls. But you see, it moved already and the scroller is at the bottom.
Yeah.
See this? You are able to see this. But normally, let me go to, this is the normal thing that we open, right? When I go to PIM and when I click on PIM, by default it loads and it shows this section of the page, right? Right?
Yeah.
Here you see, where is it displaying now? It is displaying the bottom. How? Because we clicked on PIM and once it is loaded, I told to move my mouse to this particular element. That is nothing but bring it into the visible area. So that is why you see here, though there is some space in the bottom, it didn't move. It stopped at this particular place because I'm able to see this orange HRM. That's all. That means my mouse is moved to this particular point, right? You understood? Just moving your mouse to that particular element. We use this move to element. Or if you want to hover over an element, you will use this move to element. Both. We have seen both the examples. One for scrolling and the one for hovering over. Okay. Now we are done with hovering over and scrolling. We are left with double click and drag and drop. Okay. Let us see this double click and drag and drop. On scroll, we also have another method. I mean, we can use the send keys method, and inside that send keys, you can use keys dot down. But this is not suggestible because keys dot down, when you click on your keyboard, keys dot down, it will go only some time. I mean, up to some level, right? On this page, if I click on down arrow, it will go. See how much it went. See, if I'm multiple times clicking on the down arrow, see how much time it is taking to go to that particular element, and we will be never sure how many times should I click on this down arrow to go to that particular element. Will you be knowing how many times should you click? Because we don't know the number of elements on this page. Suppose if there are only 4 elements, then the text will be displayed right away here, right? Since there are more rows here, it is we have to scroll this much, and we have to click on down arrow that many times of time. Sorry, that many times. So that is the reason we generally don't use this send keys dot down. Okay, right. Now let us see double click and drag and drop. Okay, to perform the double click operation, I think I can take you to W3 Schools double click operation. Yep, on double click event. Try it yourself. All right, you see, okay, this is a paragraph, but I don't want to be a paragraph. I want to be it a button. Okay, no issues. Button. Now you see double click. Okay, when I perform a single click, nothing is happening. You see, nothing is happening when I perform a click.
What is this IDE, the one you are doing it?
This is not an IDE. This is a W3 School, W3 Schools website where you can try everything on your own site, where you can try everything that they have given. The examples you can run here itself.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm here. This is the HTML page. Now there is a button. Now I want to, when I click on this, you see nothing is happening, right? But when I perform the double click, you will see the text here. Instead of hello world, I'll say you just performed the double click operation. Okay, now let me run this. You see, when I perform the double click, it is giving this operation. Okay, now let me copy this HTML and then create a HTML of our own, because you see this was paragraph earlier, but I changed it to button and I changed all the text. When I go to this URL, this text won't be there. I have to change all these things, which is not possible here. So that is why I'm creating my own HTML of this text. Okay, right. Files used, HTML files. Okay, I think I already have it. Yeah, surprise, double click me. When I double clicked on it here, I mean, when I created earlier, I used this alert option. Okay, you can use this alert also, no problem. You have successfully performed a double click operation. Okay, let's see this. We already have it, so I'll use this double click HTML. Okay, now I'm copying this. Now let's navigate to that and click on the particular element. So on the same browser, if you want to open a new URL, what is the method that we have to use? Come on. Let's see. Driver dot navigate dot to. Okay. Okay. Driver dot navigate to, and then we have to click perform the double click operation on the button. I'm not sure what is the ID for that. I don't remember. Okay, input type is equals to button. value is this. So I think we have only one button, so I can use this. Okay, input also we have only one. Okay, so I'll use / input. Action dot double click. Again, same, double click somewhere else, double click on a particular element. I want to click on an element. So double click and then driver dot find element by dot XPath of / input dot perform. That's all. Okay. Now let's see this. I don't even want to log into this site. So I'm just oh, sorry. I've commented all the lines, unwanted lines. These are also unwanted lines for now. Okay, now let me run this. You see the alert that is being displayed, right? It went to that particular page. It double clicked on this, so the alert is displayed. Now let me show you manually as well. See, when I double click only, this alert will be displayed. Otherwise, this alert won't come. Okay. Since I performed the double click operation already, so directly when you see this page, you are seeing this alert. Understood? So that is the double click operation. Now let us move to another site. jQuery UI droppable something is there. jQuery UI droppable. Yep. So this is one of the site where this is one of the site which developers uses to generate some code. You see here, if they want to use, this is the all HTML code that they want. They'll just copy this and they'll change whatever they want. I mean, like the names and all those things, they'll change and they'll use it. Okay. So now we are using this. Now you see here, we have this is a target element. Sorry, this is a source element and this is the target element. Now when you move this source element or when you drag and drop that particular element here, the color will be changed, right? So for moving this, what we have to do, we have to find this element, click on it, hold the left click as it is, and then move it to that particular element and leave the left click, right? Release the left click button. So if you perform those operations, it will be dragged and dropped. Now to perform this drag and drop option, we are going to use actions class of Selenium, which can perform all the mouse operations. Okay, let's see that now. Again, I'll comment all these unwanted lines for now. Okay, this is double click, this is drag and drop. Driver dot navigate dot to, this is the URL, jQuery UI droppable. Okay, we are going to that, and then now we have to drag and drop. So for that we have action dot drag and drop method. You see, which is one is taking source element and target element, and the other one is taking source element and the coordinates. If you want to move to that, if you want to move that particular element using some x and y coordinates, you can use the second one. If you want to just move that particular element to the source and target, you can use this. Okay. Now, what is the source element and what is the target element? This is the source element and drop here element is the target element. So we have to find these two things, right? So let us find it. But you see these two are inside a frame. You are able to see the frame related options. So first we have to switch to that frame. Where is that frame? Okay, this is the frame. Class is equals to demo frame. Let us see. /iframe. Okay, anyway it has only one frame, but we use the attribute. Okay, now we have to move to this frame. So after moving to this, first I have to move to that frame. How do I move to that frame? I know you won't answer. Switch to dot frame using web element. Okay, or using its ID. Oh, we do not have those things. We have index, we can use 0 because on this page there is only one iframe. You see only one, so I'm using its index 0. Driver dot switch to frame using its index 0. And then now let us perform the operation drag and drop. Now let us find this element. ID is draggable. Let's say web element src is equals to driver dot find element by dot ID of draggable. Okay, and then another web element target is equals to driver dot find element by dot ID of, it will be droppable. Yep, it's a droppable. Okay, now this is the source and this is the target. I want to move this element onto this element, right? So I'll pass src, I'll pass target, and then use perform method. That's all. Now what it will do is it will go to this side, it will switch to the frame where the elements are present, it will find this element and it will find this element, and then it will perform the drag and drop operation. Okay, now let us run this and see. Did it do that? You see the operation performed, right? It automatically, I mean, it dropped this particular element onto this. Did you see that? When you come onto this URL, the elements will be like this. Since our script performed the operation, it dropped this, and you are seeing this screen. Okay, so that is drag and drop. And to perform drag and drop, this is not the only way. We can build a series of actions. Okay, series of actions to perform drag and drop. What are those series of actions? Generally, if I want to drag and drop something, okay, if I want to drag and drop this particular element, okay, if I want to drag and drop this particular element on this element, what are the actions that I am performing? First, I am moving to this element, right? I am moving to this element. I am performing the left click, and I'm not releasing the click. I'm just clicking and holding that as it is. And then I am moving my mouse to another element, and then I'm releasing my click to perform the drop operation. So these are the series of actions, right? The same series of actions can be performed here. Okay. So what are those same series of actions? Now, first I have to move to that particular element. So I'm using action dot move to element. Which element I want to move to? Source element. And then I want to click and hold. So there is a method called click and hold. I'll perform this click and hold and then dot, and then again move to element. After clicking on that particular, clicking and holding on that source element, I want to move to element. I want to move to which element? I want to move to target. And then what should I do? After moving to target, I have to release. Already I was clicking and holding, right? Now I want to release and then perform. So whatever this single drag and drop method did, this series of actions will also do the same. Understood? We moved to a particular element, we clicked and hold on it, and then we moved to the target and then released. Let's see this. This is the last scenario of this actions class. The same operation will be done, but with the different kinds of actions. That's all. You see, did it done? Is it done? The same thing again. The same. We have commented this drag and drop, but the same operation is performed using these series of actions. Understood? Is that clear? What are the things that we do with the mouse operations?
Yes, Nikhil.
Okay, so that's all about this mouse operations. We have one more thing called multi-axis, but generally we don't do it. So when you get some time and when you are interested, then you can just try this example. Okay. All right. So that is all about the mouse operations that we do on Selenium. Now let's see the next topic. Handling file inputs. So this is one of the important thing that you should know. Like what is this handling file inputs? Handling file inputs is when you go to Orange HRM, okay, everywhere, I mean, on these elements, everything you are dealing with on the web page. But when you go to add employee, there is a section called, there is a section to choose a file for that employee, right? You see this? Choose a file. This is also a web element, but when I click on this choose file, it is opening the Windows elements, right? You see this? This is a Windows, right? I won't be able to identify these elements because there won't be any inspect for these Windows elements, desktop elements. We will be able to find the HTML content only for the browser elements, but not on the Windows elements. Now, but I want to upload a file. So how do I select a file and then how do I click on open? Selenium doesn't support desktop applications. Selenium support only web applications, right? Agree?
Yes.
Okay. So to learn this, we have this handling file inputs. So for this, we are using another tool called Sikuli, which is an image-based object recognition tool. Okay, image-based object recognition tool. Let us see the setup for today because it's already 8:15. We still left with 15 minutes. So let us see the setup with this and let us see the introduction to this Sikuli, and then later in tomorrow's session, let us perform these operations. You understood why we are going to this Sikuli, right? Since we cannot deal with this Windows based elements, I cannot click on open, I cannot select any file here because it doesn't have any unique identification. You see, do I see any inspect? No, because this is a desktop application or this is a desktop window. This is not a browser window. Only browser window or only browser elements have their corresponding HTML content, but we do not have HTML for this, so we won't be able to directly interact with Selenium on these elements. For that reason, we are using a new tool called SQLEX. Not only SQLE, we are also having some other tools to do such kind of operations, which is called AutoAid. But most widely used tool is SQLE. Okay. Now let us see some information about SQLE. SQLEX by Rayman. RA, I think. Okay, RIE. Where is the SQLEX? Just search with it and then it will take you to the SQLEX.com. Rayman's SQLEX. Okay. So now this is being maintained by a person called Rayman. So that is why it is called as SQLEX by Rayman. Okay. This was a project which was developed by 4 engineers as a project in their during their graduation. They created this tool as part of their project. But after the graduation, those 4 engineers moved to their own jobs and they have their own work to earn bread and butter. So that is the reason this was left unmaintained. So at that point of time, Rayman was the person who took over this SQLEX tool from those engineers, and he started maintaining this. He is the only person who is maintaining SQLEX now. If you find any issues or if there are any issues on SQLEX, this person, if you report those issues, this is the person who is going to work on it and fix them. Okay. So SQLE means it's a God's eye. Whatever it sees, whatever it sees, it knows it. It can understand it. God, like God, if God can see anything which is visible, right? In a similar way, SQLE means it's God's eye, which can see or which can identify anything which is visible to it. Okay. Then this was started in 2009 as an open source research project. Okay, by MIT. Okay, by MIT students. These are the people: Sung Xiang Chang and Tom Ye. These are the people who created this SQLEX, but later they left the project at 2012 and take over. Then this Raymond decided to take over this SQLEX. Okay. So this is developed on Linux and it uses Python robot framework and then JRuby language, and it also has JavaScript support engine. So when we want to use this tool, it will automatically come with all these things. Okay. And then how this SQLEX is useful: daily usage of applications or web pages, playing games, or administration of IT systems and networks. These are the things that it helpful, where it is helpful. How do I get it? You can just, SQLEX can be downloaded from this Launchpad page. This is a new thing, which is a Launchpad page. Okay, you can go to this Launchpad page, or if you want to read some more thing about SQLEX, you can go here and download it. But now let's go to the Launchpad page to download it. You see, these are all the SQLEX project files where you have the IDE jar file. If you SQLEX is not only, we are writing our code in Eclipse, right? But if you don't want to write, use Eclipse, or you don't want to use Selenium, you only want to go with SQLEX, you can use the SQLEX IDE jar, which is itself a separate IDE. Okay, where you can automate anything, right? SQLEX will be able to automate anything, but completely based on the image recognition technique. Okay. So this is the latest release 2.0.5, which is released on March 3rd of 2021. So if you want to see the IDE, you can download this IDE jar file. Okay. No, I don't want to use this SQLEX IDE. I just want the API. I want to use in Eclipse only. I will not use the tool directly. Then you will have a separate download section, I think, for APIs. Just let me go. latest stable version is this. Yep. So this is also another way to download. Either you can download it from Launchpad or you can download it from here. Okay. You can download from the Launchpad where you will have only IDE. But if I want the API to use with my Eclipse, then I can go here. Okay. Be sure you look at the information. That's fine. Where is the API? Yeah. You see, this is for IDE. System specific versions for SQLix IDE. No, I don't want SQLix IDE. I want to go with the API. You see this API, SQLix features in Java programming or Java aware environments. Okay, so I want to use it on Windows. So I'm going to use this jar file again. Okay, SQLix API jar file. When I click on this, it will automatically download the SQLix API jar file. Okay, now if I download this and then I have to link this API jar file to my Eclipse. Okay, now before API, let us download this IDE. Let us install the IDE and then let us see. Okay, now let me download this jar file. Earlier, both IDE and API used to be downloaded using a single link, but recently Raymond changed the structure, and then those who want IDE, they will get only IDE. Those who want API, they will get only API. So he has divided it into two separate things. Okay, it's 123 MB, so it might take a little while for it to download. Let me see if I have it already. Yep, you see here, SQLix IDE jar. Okay, let me cancel the download. I already have it, the same version 2.0.5.jar. So let us use the SQLix IDE. I am just double clicked on this. Now it is starting on my Windows machine. Okay, this is how the SQLix IDE looks like. Since I already automated this, you are seeing, sorry, you are seeing that. Now this is how the SQLix IDE looks like. You can write your own script here for all the complete application. Okay, you can also record this. You can run it. Earlier there used to be a side menu where it will show all the what do we say, operations that you can do on this SQLix. Okay. No. Okay, fine. So now here I want to click on, for example, I want to automate Orange HRM. Let us go to this. I want to automate the login functionality of this. Since I said SQLix is a completely image based recognition tool, so we are going to identify or perform any operations on the images only. Okay, so I want to take a screenshot of this particular element. You see, this is the image, and then what I want to do on this, actually I want to click on it. Okay, and then I want to enter or type. I think type is the method. Type. Actually, I will directly use the type method on this. Type on this element. What I have to type, this will take two parameters. One is the element and the other one is the text. I want to type admin. Okay, and then another type. What is that? Okay, insert image. If you already stored the images, you can use insert image. If you want to take the screenshot, then you use this, take the screenshot. But here I don't want to. Yeah, you see, in view toggle thumbnails, I want to see the thumbnail, so I'm using this. Okay, username, the admin will be entered on this, and then again let me take another screenshot for password. Oh, sorry, it should be here. You have to keep your cursor there and then take the screenshot. Okay, I took the password and then I want to pass the text as admin123. Okay, and then I want to click on login button. So I have to take another screenshot for login. Oh, shit. Take screenshot for login. Now if I want to run this, you see here, run. I'll just run it. If you want to, you have to save this equally. So where I'll save is, okay, files used, Bobby batch underscore SQL demo. Okay, I started running it. Now let's see. Did it enter? You understood? So this is SQLX. You don't have to worry about anything. You just have to take the screenshot and perform the operation. And there is no hell lot of methods like Selenium. We have so many methods, right, to perform in the Selenium. But here it is just the images. Type, click. That's all. 4 or 5 methods, not more methods. There are very less number of methods that we can we will be using on SQLX. Understood? But the only problem with SQLX is these elements should be visible on the desktop or on the page. If this element is not visible on the page, then it won't perform the operation. If suppose the monitor is switched off, or suppose you want to run in what do we say, HTML unit driver, which is invisible browser. If you want to run in such kind of situations, you won't be able to use SQLX. Interesting, right? SQL, completely image based recognition. So your API, your code is going to use this image to find this image on the application. On the application or on the web page, it will try to find that image by comparing the image that we gave here. It compares with this image. Once it finds this image, it will enter the text or it will perform the operation that we said. Understood? Hello? Did you get what is SQLX? It's interesting, right? Something new. Or is it also boring?
I mean, it's headache, I think. I mean, like, why to bother using this one?
When you want to upload some files into your website, there is no other way in Selenium. We have to depend on third-party tool like SQLX or SQLX or Auto8 tool. How do you upload your suppose you on a job what do we say, job portal, like in India we have Naukri, but I don't know what are the sites that you have, like LinkedIn. If you want to upload your resume or if you want to upload your certificates, then how do you upload? That those files will be on your machine, either laptop or your mobile. So if you want to search over your desktop application, then we can't do it, right, with Selenium. So that is the reason we have to depend on a third-party tool called SQLX or Auto8. Now we are seeing SQLX. Okay. Actually, SQLX is an image-based automation tool, image-based recognition automation tool. But since this doesn't have the flexibility of all the things that we want to perform, suppose I want to get the title of the browser, it is not possible to do that. It will just perform the operations, but it will not get any text, or it will not, we do not have anything to compare something on the page. We do not have if else conditions. It will just blindly perform the operation. So since it doesn't have much flexibility over the elements and much flexibility over the methods that we have, we don't use this completely. but we have to upload files, and there is no other way for us to upload files other than image based recognition. So that is why we are using this SQLex tool. Okay. But now, if you want to learn, there are so many things to learn about this. Suppose if I double click on the image, you will see some options here. You see here, this is the path and this is the file name for this. And then, okay, there will be some other things that we, yeah, you see matching preview. It will show the preview if the page is open, and target offset matching preview. Oh, it got stuck. I have to open this Orange HRM site for matching preview. Okay, let's go back. Let me try this. So here it will search for the matching preview. You see here, if 70% of the image is matched, then it will perform the operation. No, I don't want 70, I want 100% match, then only I'll perform the operation, then you can use this. Understood? Let me double click on this. And matching preview. You see, it will search for the preview and it will show us. Based on this, even if it is 0% matching, or if it is 50% matching, or if it is 75, it is 80, it is 99, you can increase the percentage matches. Okay. And then, and target offset is another thing. If you want to give X and Y coordinates to that particular element, you can give that. Come on. I'll go to target offset directly. Okay, this is getting slower to load. Let us ignore. All right. So any questions in the mouse actions, and then introduction to SQLex IDE?
Nikhil, is these two are the only tool that we use in Selenium, or there is other tool too?
Third-party tools. Selenium, we are using this SQLex, and we don't use any other tool for this element recognition or performing some operations, but we will use some other tools like TestNG for reporting purpose. Now we are running it, but we are not generating any report, right? Whether the step is passed or failed. So to have those things, we have another tool called TestNG. We will integrate our Selenium with the TestNG.
Okay. So my question is, like, for image recognition, is this only this tool is the only tool, or there is other tool in the market?
There are other tools, but most widely used tools are either SQL or Auto8.
Okay, got it.
Out of these two, SQL is the most widely used because of its simplicity in nature. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. So tomorrow we'll see the implementation of SQLex with Selenium. Okay. Now we are we are in Selenium. Okay. We are handling file inputs. Then we have two topics which are related to Selenium, and then one topic which is related to Java, which is exception handling. So if you are done with these three topics, then we are done with Selenium. We will go to TestNG. We have all these topics to cover in this TestNG. And then we have Maven. This is a half-day topic or one session topic. Jenkins is not needed for us. We have frameworks. This is completely theoretical to understand different kinds of frameworks in Selenium. And then we have Cucumber. This is one of the practical framework. One of the framework BDD. We use this Cucumber to perform the operations. This is also a one session. One session would be enough for us to learn Cucumber. Okay, so we are going to see all these things, and then we can wind up our batch. Okay.
So 1 week is not enough, right?
Not enough.
Okay.
We have a lot of topics pending. Based on your understanding, if you grasp TestNG and if you respond soon, we might complete TestNG in lesser sessions. Okay. All right then. Chalo. Have a great sleep. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, Nikhil.